your host, Majaro.
What is up, my tribal people? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm your tribal chief, Majaro, aka Image, and you already know what I'm going to say. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we're trying to grow the community, and by sharing this with your friends and family, that goes a long way in helping us do that. Now, let's get into the video. Welcome back, guys, to the channel. I know it's been a minute, but I had to go back to Manchester. It was my birthday on the 31st of March, and you know what that means for this channel? It means it's the anniversary of the creation of Pree Da Production. And I know, we've been on a journey for two years now, but I feel like a lot of people have come along the way, and a lot of you might not know who I am. Who is this guy? Why does he call himself the tribal chief? What's this channel all about? And why does he even do YouTube? Because I don't think I've talked on this channel why I decided to actually start putting myself out there, reviewing content, reacting to content, and creating content on my own. So where do I start? Let me just talk about myself for a second. My name is Majaro, aka Image. I'm from Nigeria. I was born and bred there, from Port Harcourt, in the south side, by the port. Seafood for days. Obviously a hot climate, loved it. Moved away when I was 6 to the wonderful United Kingdom. Started off in London, stayed with relatives, how the migrant community goes. You go to London, you stay with relatives until you get on your feet, and then you start to scout out and see where can my family settle. So my parents decided Manchester was the spot for us, further up north. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm Manchester born and bred. I don't care if I wasn't born and bred there. Manchester is my city. That's where I always go back to. That's where I have, a lot of fun with my family and friends. And it's just a vibe. If you've ever been to Manchester, or if you've not been to Manchester, you need to go. Everyone will tell you it's a vibe. Everyone will tell you it's really nice, friendly people there. Food, amazing, I'm not gonna lie. London's alright. London's got the variety, but the price is a bit mad for me, and the quality isn't always there. But Manchester, standard 7 out of 10. Wherever you go, you're not going to be disappointed. So, lived in Manchester for 6 years, for the next 6-7 years. Then went to University of Worcester, where I studied accounting. Played basketball. Shout out to my Worcester Wolves. Played there for a good 3 years. Enjoyed it, made a lot of memories, had a lot of experiences, and that's where I dabbled in video production. It was my final year, which was crazy, I know, right? Why are you starting, dabbling in film and production in your final year? Well, throughout my life, I've always felt like communication was one of my best sellers. Communication, talking to people, connecting with people, and building teams. I used to be an air cadet, so I had a lot of experience leading people to sort out problems, to reach an objective, reach a goal, fundraise, displays, marching displays, bringing people together, communicating. And at that time I was like, accounting is nice and all that, but is that really my calling? I feel like I need to do something else. Let me dabble in something else. And that's when, I'm a visual learner. That's how I feel like I've learned the best, by watching, and I love to watch stuff. So I thought, why don't I do a YouTube video? Why don't I do a podcast? I know a lot of funny people. I know a lot of interesting people. We can have a conversation, and I'm not gonna lie, started a podcast. It was, what was it called? It was Do Rag Productions. Pree Da Productions, Do Rag Productions. See the connection? Yeah. So I started that with my boy, and I'm not gonna lie, the first couple of episodes were sketchy. It was only audio, and the mics were fluctuating in terms of quality. It was on our phone the first time. We talked about religion, and then the second time we talked about different versions of students. Your first year student, your third year student. What does that entail? What the difference is? What the commonality is? Because I was a third year final year at that time, and my boy was the first year coming through. First couple, I was like, it's good, but I don't feel like anyone's really paying attention. Let's take it up a notch. I have a friend called Chloe. Shout out Chloe. She was doing film production and film in general, and she had a really good camera, and I was like, yo, could you help us video the next episode? I booked a recording studio free of charge at the university, and I was like, yo, let's take this up to the next level. I see a lot of video podcasts, that seems to be the next wave, let's hop on. And I'm not gonna lie, that first couple, they banged. Everyone was talking about it, and you know, we had a lot of people on that one episode. It was like men versus women, you know how it is, the toxicity of the gender warfare. That's what we were talking about at that time, and hey, I've said we were a bit ahead of the curve at that point. It didn't last as long as I would have hoped, because I was in my final year, and during that period it was leading up to the final summer, and a lot of people had a lot of work to do, including myself, so the consistency and, you know, availability of guests just wasn't there, and I had to divert attention back to my studies for that, I think, 3 months we did the podcast. You know, we did our thing, but ever since then I was always in the back of my mind, yo, I should do that more often, we should do that more often. You know, life happens, you know, I get a job, graduate program. The graduate program is a program that was supposed to, you know, take you from one area of accounting into another and give you exposure to different aspects, but unfortunately the company I agreed to work for, they didn't really have a plan for me. Felt like it was a bit scattergun. I was trying to get help in different areas and try and get some guidance and some mentorship, but the mentors there weren't really forthcoming in terms of actually dedicating a portion of their time, so keeping up with you and, you know, guiding you. It was very much a tick box exercise for them, and you know, my mentor eventually moved on, and the company, you know, went through various restructures, and eventually I was let go. And unfortunately during that same time it was COVID, so COVID's happening, you know, my graduate program didn't go as well as I thought it would, and to make matters even worse, COVID, it was already terrible, you know, affected my extracurricular studies in terms of getting my chartered status. So I did the same exam 3 times. First time, COVID cancelled it. Second time, system malfunction. It went from paper-based to computer-based, and that first session, trash. Things were freezing, flopping. You know, you couldn't write 2 words without it, you know, course correcting and typing something you didn't put in. And at the end of the day, they didn't even get my transcript to mark it. And I'm not gonna lie, that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and I wasn't really motivated. And I was like, yo, is this really what I want to do? This path has been set out to me by, you know, my family, but is this really something I want to do? I'd rather put that time and energy into something I feel passionate about, something I feel like I can, you know, express myself, be creative with, and this is, you know, very much a creative outlet for me. If something comes out of it, great. If nothing, I'm getting something out of it. And this is why I felt like I needed to make a video like this to tell you guys the reasons I started. It was, you know, to have an outlet for myself, to build something for myself, you know, to put in work for something that I can call my own, and build a community of maybe not necessarily like-minded individuals, but build a community where people can come, share stories, share experiences, talk about topics that are affecting everyone, whether it's online, whether it's day to day. You know, we've covered a lot of topics varying from, you know, racism to workers' rights to, you know, trans activism to, you know, Andrew Tate and all his bull crap that's happening to, you know, football, sport. We've talked about almost everything, and I felt like I needed to come on and let you guys know a bit more about me. If you guys like this video, just let me know, and maybe we'll do a little series. Who am I? You know, who's Midge? What's this about? What are we doing here? If you have any suggestions, I've got loads of stories, guys. You don't even understand. You don't even understand how many stories I've got. Crazy stories, house share stories. Like, I might do a couple of videos, some story times, telling you some crazy stuff that you guys would think, nah, he's lying. That can't be true. What, him? In that situation? What? Nah, that's mad. Well, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Any suggestions, any reactions. Make sure you hit me up on my Instagram. That's where I'm at most of the time. If you want to get in contact with me, just hit me up on the gram. Give us a follow in the links below. And as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
I be kidding on my foes, even though I got it all on my own. Success sweet, yeah, it tastes like honeycomb. Dropping blood tears and even breaking bones. I'm sipping on Patron while aiming for the throne. I've been to hell and back and even call it home.